Welcome to the deep dive. We know you want to get smart fast, so we cut through the noise.
Exactly. No endless reading required.
Today, we're tackling something a lot of people are interested in. Passive income for 2025. Specifically, how to potentially make an extra $1,000 a month.
Right. And we've synthesized insights from a pretty comprehensive guide covering various strategies.
Yeah, the sources you gave us really cover the gamut. Everything from dividend stocks, real estate,
digital products, even some newer things like AI.
Our mission here is simple. Boil it all down to the key takeaways for you. Actionable steps, potential income, what you need to start, and importantly, the risks.
Because nothing is risk-free, obviously.
Absolutely. So if you're thinking about adding a passive income stream, well, this is for you. Let's dive in.
Okay, where should we start?
Let's kick off with a classic. Dividend stocks and REITs, real estate investment trusts.
Sure. The basic idea is pretty simple, right? You buy shares, and the company, or the REIT, gives you a slice of its profits, dividends.
And the sources you looked at gave some concrete examples.
They did. AGNC Investment was mentioned. It had like a 15.4% yield reported. On a $10,000 investment, that could be around $114 a month, potentially.
Okay.
And another one, Orchid Island Capital, even higher yield, 16.4%, maybe $137 a month from that same 10 grand.
Wow, those yields sound incredibly high, almost too high.
That's a really important point. Sometimes those super high yields are a warning sign. Maybe the stock price tanked, making the yield look big.
Ah, the yield trap I've heard about.
Exactly that. So the source material rightly points out risks like, market volatility. Prices go up and down.
But dividends aren't guaranteed, right? That can be cut.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you need a brokerage account, obviously, and the initial cash. But the advice is sound. Diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread it across sectors, energy, tech, whatever.
And reinvesting those dividends makes a difference long term.
Huge difference. Compounding. So potential income, yes, but requires capital and careful research. High risk with those high yields sometimes.
Got it. Okay, let's shift gears. What about using physical space? Renting things out.
Right. This is another big area. Short-term rentals are probably the most common thought here. Think Airbnb, Vrbo.
And the potential income there. The sources mentioned a range.
Yeah, quite a wide one.
Yep.
For just a room in a popular area, it suggested maybe $500 up to $1,500 a month.
$1,500 a month for one room. That sounds pretty good.
It does. But remember, that comes with work. Managing bookings, cleaning. It's not entirely passive initially.
True. What else besides rooms?
Parking spots came up. Using apps like Spot Hero could be, $100 to $300 a month? Depending on location, obviously.
Okay. Less income, maybe less hassle.
Probably. And even storage space. Like if you have an empty garage or basement, services like Store at My House. Maybe $75 to $500 a month for that.
So several options depending on what assets you have. But there are requirements.
Well, yeah. You generally need to own the property, or at least have your landlords okay.
And risks. Tenants, maintenance.
Definitely. Dealing with people, fixing things when they break. The sources mentioned hiring property managers as a way to make it more passive.
But that eats into your profit, of course.
Exactly. So leveraging assets you already have is great, but you need to factor in the time or the cost of management.
Makes sense. Okay. Moving from physical assets to digital ones. Creating and selling digital products.
Yes. This is interesting because of scalability. Once you make it, you can sell it many times over with little extra cost.
Like online courses, using platforms like Teachable.
Or GetResponse.
Yeah.
The example given was creating a $200 course. If you sell just 5 of those a month.
You hit that $1,000 target.
Right. Seems achievable if you have valuable knowledge to share.
And ebooks, too.
Ebooks on Amazon Kindle, yeah. The potential there was maybe $500 plus a month from, say, a $10 book, but it needs consistent marketing. You can't just publish and forget.
Yeah.
Same for stock photos or music on sites like Shutterstock or Audio Jungle. Top earners might get $100, $500 monthly per asset, but you need quality and volume.
So the upfront work is creating the product, but then there's ongoing marketing effort.
Absolutely. You need niche expertise, and you need to know how to reach your audience. SEO, social media, that kind of stuff. It becomes passive after that initial heavy lift and ongoing promotion.
Gotcha. Okay, what about lending or saving? Peer-to-peer lending came up.
Right, P2P lending. Platforms like Lending Club. You're basically lending your money to individuals or small businesses.
And the returns.
The sources suggested maybe 5–10% annual returns. So if you invested, say, $20,000, that could work out to roughly $83 to $166 a month.
But there's risk there, isn't there? What if they don't pay back?
That's the main one. Default risk. It's unsecured lending, often. So higher potential return, higher risk.
And the alternative, just savings accounts?
High-yield savings accounts, yeah. Online banks like Ally were mentioned. Much lower risk, often FDIC insured up to a limit, but the returns are lower too, maybe around 4% APY currently.
APYB.
Annual percentage yield. Basically what you earn in a year, including compounding. So with 4% ATY, you need about $30,000 saved to generate $100 a month.
Okay, so PDP has higher potential return, but real default risk. Savings are safer, but generate less. A clear trade-off.
Definitely. It depends on your risk tolerance.
All right, let's talk content. Building a blog or a YouTube channel.
This is a popular route, but it's more of a long game. You build an audience in a specific niche, personal finance, travel, cooking, whatever.
And you need good content that people can find, right? SEO optimized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you monetize it. Affiliate marketing is one way.
Where you recommend products and get a cut.
Yeah. The sources mentioned commissions from 5% up to maybe 30%. An example was hitting $1,000 a month by making 100 sales with an average commission of $10, $30 each.
Okay, and ads.
Ads, too, like Google AdSense. You get paid based on views, maybe $2 to $10 per thousand views, according to the sources.
But you mentioned it's a long game.
Yeah, the materials were clear on this. Expect it to take like 6 to 12 months, maybe longer, to build a real audience and start seeing significant passive income.
So lots of upfront work, creating content and building that community.
Consistent effort is key. It's not passive initially at all, but once established, it can generate income from multiple streams.
Right. Okay, back to more traditional investing, but maybe broader than single stocks, index funds or ETFs.
Yep. Things like S&P 500 ETFs, they track the performance of the 500 largest U.S. companies. Historically, average returns have been around 8–10% annually.
So on a large enough investment, that could generate significant income over time.
Potentially, yes. Though it's more about growth than immediate monthly income usually. But the sources also mentioned dividend-focused ETFs like SCHD.
What's the difference there?
They focus on stocks that pay regular dividends. SCHD's yield was around 3.5%. So maybe more stable income, potentially less growth in a broad market index.
Still subject to market risk, though.
Oh, absolutely. The market goes down, your investment value goes down. But the idea is diversification and long-term growth.
Right.
Less risky than picking individual stocks for most people.
Okay. Now, for something that sounds quite different, print-on-demand stores.
Yeah, this is interesting. You design products, T-shirts, mugs, posters, whatever.
But you don't actually make them or ship them.
Right. You use a platform, Shopify, with an app like Printful, for example.
Yeah.
When someone orders, the platform handles production and shipping. You just provide the design and market it.
No inventory needed. That's a big plus.
Huge. The example given, sell 50 items a month with a $20 profit on each. Boom, $1,000.
What do you need to make that work?
Good designs, obviously.
Yeah.
And marketing. Social media is often key here, finding your audience.
So creative skills and marketing savvy needed. Less logistical hassle.
Exactly. Lower overhead.
Okay, a couple more specialized ones. Licensing intellectual property.
Yeah, this is about earning royalties from your creative work. Music, photos, maybe software you developed.
So you create it once and potentially keep earning from it.
That's the idea. The source used an example of a stock photo needing maybe 2,000 downloads a month at 50 cents each to hit $1,000.
That seems like a lot of downloads for one photo.
It does. Or maybe you build a portfolio. It also mentions selling licenses for things like Excel templates on Etsy, leveraging unique digital creations.
Feels like it could take time to build up enough assets for a significant income here.
Probably yes, unless you have a breakout hit.
Right. And the last big category was actually buying an existing income stream.
Yeah, buying a cash-flowing website or business, like an established blog or e-commerce store.
How are those valued?
The guide suggested typically 2 to 3 times annual profit. So it's like making $500 a month or $6,000 a year might cost you somewhere between $12,000 and $18,000 to buy.
So you need significant capital up front.
Definitely. Or investing in local businesses, laundromats, vending machines. Those could generate maybe $200, $500 profit per month per unit, but again, requires significant investment.
The benefit being you get cash flow almost immediately.
Potentially, yes. But you really need to do your homework. Due diligence is crucial before buying any existing business.
Understandable. And finally, the guide touched on AI, leveraging artificial intelligence.
It did. It's still an emerging area, of course, but the idea was using AI tools, maybe like ChatGPT, to help create content, blog posts, scripts.
And then monetizing that content with ads.
Right. Or using AI in e-commerce,
Yeah.
perhaps for automating inventory management or customer service in a dropshipping business.
So AI as a tool to maybe make some of these other methods easier or more efficient.
That seems to be the angle, making content creation faster or streamlining online store operations. It's definitely something to watch. Quality and effectiveness are still big questions, though.
Okay, wow, that's quite a range of strategies we've covered, drawing from those sources.
It really is. From traditional investing to digital creation to, leveraging physical assets and even AI. Lots of possibilities.
And the clear takeaway seems to be there isn't just one path to that $1,000 a month passive income goal. Lots of different routes you could potentially explore.
Absolutely. And each one, as the source material emphasized, has its own unique mix of requirements, capital, skills, time.
And its own risks and potential rewards. It really depends on the individual's situation, skills, and how much risk they're comfortable with.
Precisely. There's no single best way. It's about finding the right fit for you.
So considering this whole landscape we've just walked through, based on these sources, here's something to think about. How does this information challenge or maybe confirm your own ideas about building wealth and achieving financial independence heading into 2025?
That's a great question to ponder.
Definitely something for our listeners to mull over. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.